Hey, sunshines. So, listen, I'm on this journey of forgiveness because I have realized that a lot of my anger is not because I'm really mad. A lot of my anger is because I have not forgiven. And in this journey of forgiveness, what I've noticed is that, child, I have not forgiven myself for a lot of things. And I've been on this journey before. I've circled the block a few times just in a different pair of clothes. And so this time, I am here trying to do things a little differently in my forgiveness because I also know if I can't forgive myself, then how the heck am I going to forgive somebody else? Right. And so when I've tried to forgive myself before, honey, I take the areas, I'm very self aware. Right. And so I take the areas that I know that I'm still bitter about or that I'm still angry about or that still trigger me, honey, and I pull those situations out and I put them across the table, honey. I pull out my magnifying glass and I get to work. Okay. I go to work. I look at the information I had at the time. I look at what I was doing, where I was emotionally, mentally, the responsibilities I had at the time, like all the things, right? And what I find is that when I start to analyze it in such a way, instead of providing myself with grace and forgiveness, which is the goal, maybe a little understanding, or what I seem to find out, honey, is that I'm madder than I was when I started. The bitter starts to bloom, resentment starts to rise, and I'm circling the block again. Like I'm walking away, upset, more upset than when I started. And so this time I'm trying to get like some real forgiveness, forgiveness that gives me grace, forgiveness that says, girl, you did it, you haven't done it again. Let's move forward, right? And in that, it hit me that Jesus forgives me and wipes me clean. Like that was the whole purpose. One of the purposes of his death, his pain, his suffering, is so that I can be forgiven. Because when I go to Jesus, when I get on my knees and I pray to God, how about this? They don't say, let me take you to the table. What information did you have at the time? Where were you physically? Where were you mentally? Where were you emotionally? They don't even, God don't even sit me down and say, do you believe? I'm not even questioned about my belief because at the end of the day, the sacrifice is the acknowledgement that you messed up. The sacrifice is your pride. The sacrifice is the fleshy, our flesh in temptations, like just the flesh in general. That is the sacrifice. And so that alone, God is like, boo, I see you. I see you, sunshine. I see you are coming to me brokenhearted, convicted, not condemned, convicted of your actions, and you want to change. You are repenting. God knows our heart. And so when we come to him in that way, it is because of Jesus that we are forgiven. The grace and mercy and love that renews daily towards us from God is dropped right on down in that moment. And so the word also says that once we are forgiven, it is wiped clean. So things that are wiped clean, things that are not there can't be remembered, right? Because it's gone. It's like it never happened. We are new. And so we have to take that same stance with ourselves. We have to acknowledge that we did wrong, that we misstepped, that we reacted in a bad way, or maybe in an inappropriate way, that we sinned. We go to God, we say, God, listen, thank you for Jesus. Thank you for your sacrifice of your son so that I can even come to you, so that I can be forgiven. We go with a repentant heart, a true, genuine, repenting heart. And then we forgive ourselves. And when that time comes, because our minds will try to take us back to who we were and what we did, we have to recall the word. First John, Ephesians 1, Colossians, they tell us that Jesus has forgiven us, that God has forgiven us through Jesus' sacrifice, and we are new beings when he forgives. And so if we are new beings in his eyes, we have to stand on the word when our little fleshy minds, our little minds try to take us back to what we were. And that is the beginning step of forgiving ourselves. We have to give ourselves that same grace that we give to everybody else and the same grace that God gives us. So once we admit that we have done something wrong or we have wronged someone and we go to God with a contrite heart, a broken heart, really ready to repent and ask for forgiveness, once He forgives, you forgive. And this is the step to forgiving us, ourselves, and for us to begin to forgive others. And so for me, it has been enlightening to say, I am so sorry. And apologizing to those that I may have hurt, or those that I said something wrong to, or whatever the case may be, apologizing and acknowledging to them, saying, hey, I'm so sorry. But I can't continue to carry the resentment if that be their case. If they don't want to forgive me, that's between them and God, themselves and God, right? But I have to move forward in forgiving myself and acknowledging that God has forgiven me so that I can live a freer life. And I hope the same for you. Let me know where you are. Where are you in the journey? Have you admitted that you've done something wrong? Maybe you have admitted it, but you're still carrying the resentment. You haven't gone to God. Maybe you've admitted it, you've gone to God, but now your mind won't let you loose. You are still prisoner to your mind of the shame or whatever you're carrying. Where are you in the journey? Let me know. Let us get through it together. And in everything you do, keep shining sunshine.